Keeneland Fall College Scholarship Day raffles off scholarships to students.
Founder of the Drunken Flea cultivates a beautiful community for vintage vendors.
UKPD reports 4th sexual assault this semester.
Everything you need to know about how to vote in Lexington.
I'm Giana Gallo.
And I'm Owen Chesemore, and this is Catching Up with the Kernel. The opinions expressed on this podcast are the speaker's own and don't uphold the opinions expressed by the Kentucky Kernel.
Keeneland welcomed local college students during its semi-annual College Scholarship Day, which awarded a total of $40,000 in raffled scholarships. Free admission into Keeneland on October 18, 2024 was offered to any pre-registered college student. They were also able to receive promotional items, coupons, and the chance at raffled prizes. This fall, one $2,000 scholarship was awarded during each of the 10 races, totaling $20,000, as well as two $10,000 raffled scholarships being awarded during race 6. The winners of the two $10,000 scholarships were Integrated Strategic Communication sophomore Ryan Lewis and Christina Stutton, a sophomore family science major at UK that transferred this year from Baylor University. Owen, I heard a little rumor that you went to College Scholarship Day this year.
I did.
Was this your first time going?
It was my first time going.
Thoughts?
It was a lot of fun. I made my first bet on a horse. I thought with a name of like She's Fire or something like that the horse would win. It did not, unfortunately. But it was a great time nonetheless.
We just talked about this too, where I was like, have you placed a bet before? And you're like, no. And I'm so glad you did.
I know.
Was it scary
Yes.
to go up to the booth? Because I know they have, I don't know if those are like electronic, it looks like an ATM
Yes.
looking thing. Are those electronic betting
Okay,
things?
so it was a whole process because I started there and then it wasn't working. So I had to get some cash. I was trying to use a card, didn't work. And so I went up and did like the in-person thing. It was a little bit intimidating because I didn't know what I was doing, but I just went for it. And it's a part of the experience, it's
Right.
fun.
And it's like memorization. You're like, okay, She's Fire, win, play, show.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, wait,
there's so
a
many
lot of
questions.
things.
I'm like, I just want to place a bet.
I just wanna place a bet. And then the signs, like, they're helpful, but not really.
Right.
Like, you're like, I keep like always looking. I'm like, oh wait, I missed this. Wait, and then the person that works there, they're like, just what do you want? I'm
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry. I just want to place a bet. But
Right.
what all did Keeneland College Scholarship Day have? Did you get any merchandise?
Yeah.
Did you,
So
I mean, you're already pre-registered in a scholarship. Did you get any scholarship?
unfortunately, I didn't. I was so sad about that. But I went there and the merch was already out by the time I got there. And I got there at like 2 p.m., so I guess that makes sense. But I just got like a little bag and that's it, like no shirt or anything. But I got like free, they had these like mocktails, I got free of those. And then I got some food there and it was a lot of fun, yeah. And they also were handing out free hot dogs, which
That's really nice.
I also needed a voucher for and I didn't know how to get that. So I missed out on that too. But next year I'm going to be ready. So
I'm
it's
ready
fine.
for next year.
Exactly.
Well, it's nice too that they're giving all of this free stuff away because Keeneland is really fun, but for a college student's budget, it might be a little bit pricey for
Right.
a hot dog or for a cocktail or even a mocktail.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they're being a little considerate and
Yeah.
making the college student not have to pay for anything.
Exactly.
Besides a ticket, which is really nice.
This week we had a feature writer go to the Drunken Flea and share their experience about what they saw. And here's what the writer said. The founder of the Drunken Flea cultivates a beautiful community for vintage vendors. The bustling crowd rushes from one booth to another, scouting for the best vintage items of the day. Conversations echo within each tent as patrons attempt to barter for the best deals and lowest prices, while eager customers sit on the ground, swimming through bins of recycled clothes. Customers of all ages, styles, and backgrounds carry heavy bags with vintage clothes or trinkets that weigh them down. The moment you enter the Drunken Flea at the Burl, you are transported into a world of vintage clothing. This event is a curated vintage pop-up market put on by Warehouse Vintage every summer, fall, and spring. As the Drunken Flea has expanded, the pop-up has 50 vendors this year. This increase has given Shonda Snyder, founder of the Drunken Flea, the opportunity to create a beautiful community within this event. Does this sound like something that you would go to?
I'm going to be totally honest. I wish I knew about this sooner because I totally would have gone. I mean, even this picture, I'm like, this is so up my alley.
Yeah.
Because, again, I feel like we're bringing up a lot of old things that we have talked about. But I remember we were talking about farmers markets when they did, like, the flower or the Wildcat Market. That's what it was.
Yes.
And I'm like, I just want more places that have local things, or it gives a very, like, farmers market feel. And this looks like it. And I love shopping for vintage knickknacks. Not so much clothes, but I know some people are really into clothes shopping, but I really like bookends or books or, I don't know, anything. Like any sort of knickknack, I just gravitate towards. And I feel like this was like, I just missed it. So I want to go in the spring. But what about you?
It sounds really fun. I would really enjoy going to this because they'd have cool clothing, obviously, but also it just looks like a fun experience to like walk through and just kind of like makes it a fun time when you're just like wandering through trying to find cool stuff. And it's like local vendors. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, and even if you don't like vintage shopping, it's just something to do. Like I would have taken the opportunity just to walk around. The Burl's really nice. I like that little setup that they have. It feels like a little enclosed community with all of their different properties. So I would have just liked walking around the Burl, enjoying the weather, and again, I would have totally bought things. So I guess it's good that I didn't go because I totally would have bought unnecessary things.
Saving some money,
but I will be going in the spring when the Drunken Flea comes back. So be sure to read this full article because there are so much more within the Drunken Flea, and the writer especially went into depth with certain people that they met, and it shares a lot of neat stories, so be sure to check it out. The University of Kentucky Police Department sent out an email to the student body about a sexual assault that happened on campus on Sunday, October 20th. This is the fourth sexual assault that UKPD has reported to the student body this semester. The incident occurred on Thursday, October 17th, inside the victim's dorm room. According to the email, quote, "The suspect is known to the victim." According to the University of Kentucky's crime log, the incident occurred at a, quote, "undeclared UK main campus resident hall." The crime bulletin said that UKPD is actively investigating this incident. The email included resources for students to refer to, such as Safe Cats and the VIP Center. If you or someone you know has been affected by sexual assault, call 859-257-3574 to contact the Violent Prevention and Intervention and Prevention Center for free and confidential support. With this being the fourth sexual assault on campus, I feel the need for some updates about the last couple ones, and I don't know, it's starting to get really, really repetitive. As a student perspective, I'm getting really frustrated, but also as a woman, like I'm starting to feel unsafe. Even this morning I work for WRFL, and I had to walk to my morning show, and I was like looking over my shoulders, like a leaf fell, and I was like, like I was just on edge walking around campus. And I always think like, okay, do these blue lights actually work? Because I don't really know if I feel safe on UK's campus anymore because of how much sexual assault is happening on campus. What do you think of UK's response to this?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. I mean, we've had multiple ones reported, and we kind of get the email and don't see where, if any, what investigation is going on, where it went, where the process went. And so not really knowing if things are being properly addressed is very concerning. I mean, because every day students are walking in and outside their dorm rooms or dorms seeing papers on the front doors being like, this was reported recently. And if they don't know what's going on, then all they know is this is happening on the campus, but they don't know if it's being addressed. So there needs to be more transparency about what's going on.
Right. And again, this tends to be a revolving door and kind of a trend with the police department on campus. It's always like a 3-4 day delay of when students actually know. I understand maybe it's for the victim's privacy. I really feel like maybe it just does take a long time to document. But if it takes a long time to document, document this incident, then there should be more details on it, in my opinion. And again, the fact that this was released Sunday and the emails are so sporadic. Like, I know we talked about this. We're like, you got an email at 2 o'clock and I got one at 6 o'clock. I was like, it's the same. Why isn't it a universal, like, 2 p.m. email? Like,
right.
What's with the, 4-hour difference?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I would appreciate just a little bit more urgency to the matter, considering that they are police. But I just, it's becoming a really scary thing, I think, on UK's campus, and I feel like the administration and the police department need to speak up about it.
Here's everything that you need to know about for voting in Lexington. First of all, what should you bring? Kentucky requires a form of photo ID to vote. This includes IDs like your driver's license, military ID, college ID, or Kentucky government ID. If you don't have a photo card ID, you are able to get a free one by visiting a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. If you cannot obtain a photo ID card but are registered to vote, you may sign a reasonable impediment declaration and present any of the following IDs instead: a social security card, a credit or debit card that shows your name, any ID card with both your photograph and name, any supplemental nutrition assistance card issued by Kentucky that shows your name, like a food stamp ID card, any ID issued by Kentucky County that shows your name and has been approved by the State Board of Elections.
Where do you go? Election Day is on November 5th, and polls will open at 6 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. To find your polling location, visit the Commonwealth of Kentucky State Board of Election website and select Find My Polling Place. You can also find your polling location by searching polling locations near me on Google. Some places will allow you to vote in person early if you have an approved excuse. This is called early voting. Absentee ballot requests last until October 22nd, and early voting starts on October 31st and ends November 2nd. For early voting, you can go to any Kentucky County polling location without being turned away, as long as you are a registered voter. Early voting can be helpful if you are unable to vote in person on Election Day. For those planning to vote in Lexington, all Fayette County public libraries will be open to vote between 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on October 31st through November 2nd.
What about early voting? Although the deadline to register to vote has already passed, Kentucky does still allow eligible voters to request a mail-in ballot. To request a ballot, visit the Commonwealth of Kentucky State Board of Elections website and select Absentee Ballot Request to see if you qualify for one. Once you fill out the information needed, you should receive your ballots in the mail relatively soon. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot expires on October 22nd at 11:59 p.m. If you are a Kentucky voter, visit the Kentucky Secretary of State website to see what your ballot will look like, and click on the county you will be voting in. An example ballot will be shown to you and will vary depending on the county you will be voting in.
Owen, as the Kentucky resident, I have ready fire questions. Be ready. We're going to play a quick game.
I'm ready.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
Are you going to vote?
Yes.
Where are you going to vote?
I'm planning on going back to Louisville to vote.
Okay. Do you know your polling location?
I don't yet. I should check on that.
Yeah. So I feel like this Kernel article, I mean, I'm getting a mail-in ballot, but this for in-person voters, especially again in Kentucky, I feel like this article was very helpful. Like if I put, my imaginary I'm a Kentucky resident costume on, I feel like I would know what to do. Like, okay, ID, this is what my ballot's gonna look like. Oh my gosh, I forgot my ID. Here's other things that I can bring. And it's nice that I can bring my student ID because, I know I carry both of those on me at all times just in case. But I feel like this is very helpful. And to know that there's locations all over. I'm curious, since they said all public libraries will be open, will William T. Young Library be open and be a polling place?
I don't know. I'm honestly not sure about that.
Yeah.
It's hard to know when you don't have something to compare it to because the last election was 4 years ago. But I do appreciate the fact that we'll have the whole day off, I believe, to vote. And so I know for me personally, like I can drive back to Louisville and join my family when they vote. So that's kind of like a nice experience to have.
I was going to say, is that going to be fun for you?
Yes,
like,
I think
voting
I'm
with your
looking forward to it.
family?
Yeah, that's like a fun like family thing to do, you know? So it's really cool to be able to do that, but also have the full day to be able to take the time that you need to vote.
If you want to gather any more information on these articles, check out kykernel.com and be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. That's X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify.
Thanks for catching up with the Kernel. We'll see you next week.